Hey y'all, I am back with another voiceover video. And today, I just wanted to pop on here and speak to you all about the supernatural or spiritual world and sleep paralysis. The Bible speaks about the spiritual world from beginning to end, framing it as an unseen, eternal reality. It categorizes this realm into the Most High and holy angels, human souls, and fallen spiritual forces of evil. And for those of you who don't know what sleep paralysis is, it is a terrifying phenomenon where you are temporarily unable to move or speak right as you fall asleep or wake up. It occurs when your brain wakes up or falls asleep while your body remains stuck in the muscle paralysis state of REM sleep, which REM being the dream state. Common symptoms would be total immobility, where you're conscious but unable to move your limbs, trunk, or speak, and retained eye movement, where many people can still open and move their eyes, and vivid hallucinations, or what we have been told, where they say individuals would often hallucinate an evil presence or a shadowy figure, or hear strange noises, or feel a heavy pressure on their chest. My people, sleep paralysis is spiritual. What are the chances that everyone who experiences sleep paralysis often see the same demonic entities or have the same experience as something sitting on their chest, making it hard for them to breathe? Hallucination? I think not. Sleep paralysis can be used by demonic beings to exaggerate their powers over you while you're in this paralyzed state, where your mind is awake, but your body is still asleep. Demons can use this moment to project torments that coincide with your inability to move. They take advantage of the opportunity to terrify you with visuals and scare you into believing that they have power over your physical body. Then fear kicks in and robs you of sleep, making you feel exhausted, and the cycle repeats. To overcome the spiritual aspect, pray and rebuke the enemy and address the fear. Physically, get enough sleep and more rest. My people, sleep paralysis is supernatural and very real. And it's not just a dream despite what we are being told. Sleep paralysis is like being in a separate world where things make no sense, when in all actuality, you're in the spiritual realm. Some people even actually leave their bodies, but not purposely, as they are in the sleep paralysis stage, as was the case with my daughter. My daughter experienced sleep paralysis a lot from the age of 12 to her current age of 24. I first noticed it one day when she was 12 and was lying on the couch in the den. I had just been in there with her and she was laying on her back watching TV. I left the room for about 5 minutes and went into the kitchen and called out to her. No answer. I called 2 more times. No answer. I went back in the room and she had her eyes closed, still laying on her back, looking as though she was sleeping. I stood in the door, which was about 10 feet away from her, and called out her name loudly. She didn't respond. I then went over to her and touched her, and she jumped up and sat up and said to me, "Mom, I could hear you calling me, but could not move." This was the beginning of her sleep paralysis stage. As she grew older, she would continue to have sleep paralysis. The episodes would get worse and worse as time went on. She would see shadowy figures, also that she said felt evil. She said it would terrify her so bad. She said one time she was lying on the couch on her back and had gotten to the point at this time that she could feel when she was getting ready to enter the paralysis stage. And next thing she knew, she was looking at her body still laying on the couch. By this time, she had left her body. We lived in a big apartment building that housed 4 apartments, 2 upstairs and 2 downstairs. We stayed upstairs. She said she remembered seeing her body on the couch and leaving, walking down the apartment stairs, and was walking outside. Mind you, it was dark. She said as she walked outside, she could feel that everything was off, so to speak, and still. It reminded her of the movie Insidious or Stranger Things, where it felt like an exact copy of our world that was not our world. She then said she kept walking down the street and around the corner. And she said she could feel that something was watching her. And she said she saw something that looked like an animal and human at the same time, but felt evil. She then ran back up the street towards the apartment, and whatever it was chased her. She ran all the way back up the steps and opened the door and saw her body still laying there. And she forcefully jumped back into her body. And immediately in doing that, she woke up and looked at the TV screen, which was off at the time, and saw the evil face of whatever that was chasing her in real time. She was so terrified. Another time, she was asleep in her bed and went into sleep paralysis and was floating above her body, and saw a tall, dark figure with a hat in her doorway. A lot of people that have sleep paralysis call him Hat Man because so many people have seen him. He kept getting closer and closer to her, and she said it felt like he was draining her energy, and she got scared and started praying. She said it got really bright in her room after praying, and the figure disappeared, and she went back into her body and woke up and was able to move. My people, there were several other times she had these episodes, but I would have to make another video because this would be too long of a video. But by the grace of the Most High and the presence of the Holy Spirit in her life now, she is not afraid of sleep paralysis and the spiritual realm anymore. Because the Most High did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. 2 Timothy, the 1st chapter, the 7th verse, and also in Luke 10:19, where he gives us the power to trample on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall harm us. I said that to say this. I've said it before, and I will say it again. The spiritual realm is very real. And if you ever find yourself having a sleep paralysis episode, pray. And just remember, 2 Timothy, the 1st chapter, the 7th verse, and Luke 10:19. I thank you all for listening, and you all be blessed. Bye.